HOA Karen burned my boat over a violation, then learned I'm the fire chief of this town. It wasn't the flames that shocked me. It was the silence before they rose. I stood in my bathrobe on the dock that morning, watching black smoke billow over Hawthorne Cove Lake. The flames reached out like angry fingers, and there, half sunk and fully destroyed, was my boat, the one I built with my son over 2 summers, the one named the Ash Whisperer. Now just ash. Behind me, someone cleared her throat. "You were warned," said the voice. Cold, controlled, familiar. I turned, and there she was, clipboard in hand, pink jacket zipped tight, a laminated HOA badge hanging from her neck like a medal. Marlene Chambers, self-appointed president of the Hawthorne Bluffs Lakefront Property Compliance Committee, which, as far as I could prove, didn't actually exist. "You didn't file the proper boat color declaration form," she continued. "We have rules here. Chief, this isn't a marina." My heart stopped, because she had no idea who she was talking to. Not yet. "My name is Nathaniel Rooks. I've been a firefighter for 27 years, and for the last 5, I've served as the fire chief and emergency response coordinator for Lake County. But here, on my own dock, I was just a black man in sandals. We moved to Hawthorne Bluffs last year after my youngest daughter was accepted into the regional STEM magnet school. I love the water, the quiet, the illusion of peace. But Marlene made it clear within a week we were guests in her vision of order. She cited me for having a kayak hoist that interrupted shoreline uniformity. She slid compliance notifications under our door for my children's chalk drawings on the sidewalk. And when I painted my boat dark red to match our dock, she taped a notice to the hull. "Unapproved vessel aesthetics in violation of HBLPC Standard 3B. I laughed at first, thought it was a joke, but the notices kept coming, then threats, then fines, then silence, until the fire. I called 911 from my porch. The dispatcher recognized my voice immediately. "Nate, you okay? You need us to roll. Send an engine," I said, eyes still locked on the blaze. "But I want photos first. No hose until I say so." She knew not to question me. 10 minutes later, the truck arrived. I stepped into uniform as they pulled up. My deputy, Jordan, blinked when he saw me. "You're working the scene? I am the scene." I said. The firefighters did their job, controlled burn perimeter, collected debris, cordoned off the dock. Marlene stood the whole time, arms crossed, like she was the victim. "This is exactly what happens when we allow non-compliance to fester," she muttered. "Loud enough for neighbors to hear?" "You're suggesting I torched my own boat?" I asked. "I'm saying," she replied, "that standards exist for a reason. Maybe next time you'll follow them." I stepped closer, pulled out my ID, flashed the gold badge. Lake County Fire Authority, Chief Officer, Incident Commander. Color drained from her face. "Ma'am," I said, keeping my voice even, "this fire was set intentionally. From shore. Accelerant pattern matches a pour line from your yard. We have footage. We have samples. And we're opening a criminal arson investigation." She blinked. You can't do that. You're not just a homeowner." I cut in. "Not just a dad. I'm the man who trains arson investigators and signs off on every burn report in this district." She backed up a step. "You set fire to a docked vessel? That's felony arson. It's also a direct threat to public safety under emergency code. But you didn't fill out the boat form." "There's no such form. I filed the report myself." But I didn't stop there. Because the deeper I dug, the clearer it became. Marlene's entire committee was a fraud. Her printed violations designed using free HOA templates online. Her enforcement patrol, just 2 men she paid under the table, one of whom was a fired code enforcer from another county. Her budget funded through fake late fees and coerced donations. And she wasn't just fining people over boats. She fined a Korean couple for flying a flag. Fined a woman in a wheelchair for placing her ramp in communal space. Fined a family with 4 kids for visible toy clutter. I called a meeting, the real kind. I stood at the lakefront gazebo, in full uniform, and read a letter aloud. To the residents of Hawthorne Bluffs, this is a formal notice that no registered or recognized HOA exists for this neighborhood. All citations issued under the Hawthorne Bluffs Lakefront Compliance Committee are null and void. Residents are encouraged to file for reimbursement through small claims court, and a criminal investigation into fraudulent activity and arson is now underway. Silence. Then murmurs. Then shouting. Not at me. At her. Neighbors approached. Questions poured in. One woman sobbed. She'd paid over $1 or $200 in patio compliance fines because Marlene threatened to report her non-native landscaping to the city. Another man said he'd been told he couldn't install a swing because it might lower waterline appeal. She'd bullied, manipulated, and extorted over a dozen families, many of them immigrants, elders, or disabled residents. She never thought they'd talk, until they saw her caught in the blaze of her own making. That week, Marlene was arrested for suspected arson, impersonating a public official, and fraud. The mugshot was the first time I'd ever seen her without a clipboard. She looked small, ashy, scorched by her own fire. We turned the dock into a rebuilding site. Neighbors pitched in to help us construct a new one wider, stronger, open for everyone. Aunt May brought homemade buns. The Harris kids painted signs. Malik, our teen neighbor, created a mural on the side of the boathouse, a phoenix rising from the lake. And I wrote a new policy, the Lakeside Agreement. No fines, no fraud. Just 5 words at the top. We look out for each other. The new boat arrives next spring. Same name, new paint. And I told my kids, you know what the Ash Whisperer means now? They nodded. It means we come back stronger. The end.